Hello everyone, it's Monday, so that means it's time for my weekly draft video. We're going to jump in the queue and play some Aether Revolt. And it fires right away. Okay. Well, we've got Midnight Entourage, Daredevil Dragster, and Aether Poisoner, which I think are the three cards in this pack that are like worth taking. But I think I'm going to take the Entourage. I think it's the best of them. You can also sort of build around it to some extent. All Aetherborn are a little bit better once you have him, obviously. I do like the Dragster a lot and the Poisoner. The Dragster is great because it can draw you cards after doing some damage, and the Poisoner is just an efficient creature, but that's the order I would take them into. And then after that, I'd probably have, like, Reckless Racer. So, but Entourage it is. All in on Aetherborn. Ooh, well, we got another good black rare here in Glint Sleeve Siphoner. I think it's the kind of card that's probably definitely better in Constructed because it's easier to sort of meet its energy requirements when you're like really getting there. I wish it were a Aetherborn. Aether Chaser's really good too, but I think we just take another rare here, and it's a good one. Aether Chaser and Scrounging Bandar are the next best cards in this pack for me. I love the Bandar. You can move counters around. I love the Chaser, just an efficient attacker who can make you servos for your artifact things, but we're just going to take another black rare. Neither of these black rares is like incredible. Like I wouldn't take them over premium removal or some of the really good uncommons in this format, like Long Tusk, whatever I'm gonna call it. Here we're going to take Monstrous Onslaught, I think. It's a very good card. And we look to be moving into green-black. I like it more than Chandra's Revolution, which is, I think, the next best card for me. After that, it's probably Bandar again, or maybe Unbridled Growth, which is nice if you're in green at least. These cards are all kind of medium or worse. Implement of Malice, I guess, is better than that, but you have to be... It's not going to be better than Monstrous Onslaught ever, really. It's a nice card to pick up late in a pack, though. Okay, so here we've got Renegade Map. We also have Iron Tread Crusher, which has impressed me. There's also a Caught in the Brights, though, and I may just take that. We're not, definitely going green or anything, and we've also passed some good cards in green, like the Bandar. We've passed some good white stuff, too, I guess, but that's just worth keeping in mind in terms of, like, whether we should take the Caught in the Brights or, a green card that can help us splash, or Renegade Map or Iron Tread Crusher. I think I want to take Caught in the Brights, though. I think it's just a better... it's another good removal spell, and I'm happy to have that. Okay, well, Foundry Hornet's pretty good if you can do some +1/+1 counter things. Decommissions are solid. Fenhaller's good if we end up in an improvised deck. I think I'm going to take the Hornet, though. It just seems to do the most, and its fail case as a 4-mana 2/3 is pretty good. Scrapper Champion is also very good. This pack's got a lot of good stuff going for it. I mean, it has 2 good black cards, 2 decommissions which are playable, Aether Super. Basically, all the cards in this pack are things I'm happy to have in my deck, except maybe these two. And they both have their place, too. Very aggressive deck's fine with the Rebel, and a deck that really gets there on Improvise and has Self-Assembler is perfectly happy with Foundry Assembler. But we're going to take Foundry Hornet here. Lightning Runner is definitely interesting. It's not like an incredible card or anything, mostly because it's hard to get the amount of energy it wants you to get, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not an easy card to block. It's not an easy card to be expecting. He gets even better with combat tricks. But I think it's between Augmenting Automaton or Alley Strangler here for us. I think I'm going to take the Strangler. I'm kind of getting silly here with my Aetherborn stuff, but it's a fine card anyway, and when you have Midnight Entourage, it's definitely better. And Augmenting Automaton's really only at its best if we're going to be improvising, and we're not sure we're going to be doing that anyway. So we'll take the Strangler here. Okay, here I'd probably take Iron Tread Crusher. Yeah, that's what I'll take here. Night Market Guard's okay. It's especially good if you have Iron Tread Crusher because it can crew it. But the other cards in this pack, none of them are very good. Unbridled Growth can help us splash, I guess. And maybe I should think about it longer because of that. But I think I'll pick up ways to splash more readily than I will like a big vehicle like the Iron Tread Crusher here. Okay, maybe we should be wanting to improvise because there's still a Barricade Breaker. So I think I am going to take the Breaker. I'm not sure I'll play it, but the rest of this pack is not stuff great for us. Bastion Inventor is pretty strong and is probably a decent sign that blue's open. So we could think about taking it and sort of swerving into a blue-black deck. But the breaker is something that can make it in any deck if we end up with enough artifacts. So I like that. Okay, we're seeing more signs that blue's open here with Bastion Inventor and Hinterland Drake. I could take an Automaton, but I think I'm going to cut this Bastion Inventor. The Automaton would make it in our deck, probably no matter what, because black seems reasonably open. Maybe I should just take it. Yeah, we'll take it. It'll make our deck no matter what. These blue cards are good, but I think cutting black is a decent plan. Yeah, and I'll take Fourth Bridge Prowler, which is a decent black card. Okay, I will take a Watchful Automaton, sort of pushing us a little farther towards blue, and an Implement. So, if we don't end up being able to splash, we may just end up being a blue-black deck in the end. We'll take Foundry Assembler. And we'll take Dispersal Technician, which I think is actually perfectly playable. I mean, I cut it fairly often, but it's a fine card for blue. Blue seemed really open there late, as I noted. We took these really strong cards in green and white early, but we did also pass a few early cards that were good in those colors, and other people may have snatched them up. So we now may be moving into more of an improvised deck, despite, you know, we sort of improvised our way there, actually, so flavor, but... oh, Free Jam Regent, really? Well, kind of think I have to take Free Jam Regent. I mean, we're not really sold on going any one color. We can make Foundry... I mean, we can still make Improvise work, and Free Jam Regent wants us to make it work. So I think that's what we take here. It doesn't mean we lose, like, you know, maybe we lose a couple blue cards. And we do lose a few artifacts, but it's just such a good creature. Shock's good, but it's not going to come back. No good black cards here, really. These two are both pretty subpar. But we'll take the big Free Jam Regent here. Okay. Here, I think we probably take Aether Poisoner, now that we've sort of shifted into a black-red improvised deck, from what did not really start out that way. It's just a great creature in general, and it makes servos, so it counts as an artifact more or less. White Implements here, but that's not really what we're looking for. Wouldn't hate Leaving the Dust coming back. Oh, except we're not blue anymore. This pack just doesn't have much for us in general, but we'll take the Poisoner, who is good. And we'll take Daring Demolition here. We could think about Fen Hauler, but Daring Demolition's too good of removal to pass in most situations, and this is one of those situations. Looking like our Hornet may not do a whole lot, and of course now we see a second Hornet. But now I think I probably want Bastion Inventor more. I would love either of these. Oh, I keep thinking we're in blue still. We're not. I mean, and we shouldn't be because we've got Free Jam Regent. Big enough reason to be in red. So Scrapper Champion, Welder Automaton, or Foundry Hornet. We've got one Hornet. We don't have any +1/+1 counter synergies yet. We may pick up some. This is an okay removal spell, but it's nothing incredible. And I kind of need low curve artifacts for these two big guys, and this is a perfectly good one. So I think I'm going to take him. I like Scrapper Champion too, but I think I'll take the artifact here. Ooh, Release the Gremlins I think we have to take here. It's a great card. I've been kind of surprised by how late I see it. I like it more than Shock as much as I like Shock, and I like it more than Resourceful Return, which is a card I wouldn't mind getting one of in this deck. So there are two really strong red cards. Other than that, we actually don't have a ton of red, but we will take a Renegade map here. Again, I'd like a Resourceful Return, but the map can help us splash, it helps make our mana better, and it helps us improvise, which are all things that it looks like we want to do at least a little bit of. So creatures with 3 power are things we should have sort of extra value on because of Iron Tread Crusher. It's worth keeping that in mind. Because right now we actually don't have a ton of creatures who can crew it, and if we don't end up with them, he may end up getting cut. Okay, Poisoner, Fen Hauler, or... yeah, that's basically our choice here. I think I want the Poisoner a little more. Fen Hauler's great. It's a great, like, improvised creature to have. But right now, we don't have enough artifacts for me to feel super comfortable about Improvise anyway. So I think I'm going to take the Poisoner. And I love the Poisoner anyway. We also have some energy synergy with our Glint Sleeve Siphoner, who, if we can really get going, will just win us the game because it'll draw so many cards. Okay, so there's some good white still going around. So maybe white was more open, at least it is from this side. So my choice is between like Fourth Bridge Patrol or Foundry Assembler. I don't really want a second Assembler. I may take an Inventor. Maybe I'll be able to splash it. It gives us another creature with Improvise. We do already have one Renegade map, so I am don't hate that plan. We don't have anything else great to splash, but I guess if I was splashing, I wouldn't hate playing Watchful Automaton either. I wouldn't want to play the Implement, though. Okay, we've got Efficient Construction here. But blue would definitely be a splash color because these two are better than Bastion Inventor and Efficient Construction are. So I think it's more of a choice between like Mobile Garrison or Servo Schematic. I think I'm going to take the Schematic. We don't have any ways to sacrifice artifacts right now, but it does give us 2 artifacts for Improvise. It's an okay card. It's nothing special. It may get cut even, but I like it. It has more of a chance to make our deck than the other things that we saw there. Have we managed to pick up any other Aetherborn other than our Strangler? I don't think we have. There are more in the next pack, of course, but there aren't a ton that are like I'm super excited about playing. There's a few, but not a ton. Right now our deck is pretty close to mono black, and we're just like getting into red for 2 really powerful cards and maybe splashing the Inventor. Okay, this pack isn't offering us a whole lot. I guess I can take Pia's Revolution. Don't think it's playable. It's not going to make it in my deck. But none of these are on color even. I guess maybe we could end up not being in red if something really crazy happens and playing blue instead. So I guess I'll take Leave in the Dust actually. But okay, I'm pretty happy this Fenholler came back. So we need to value artifacts highly with what we have going on. Yeah, blue was pretty open, but what we wanted to be open was open enough. I mean, maybe red wasn't, but for Free Jam region, I'm going to try pretty hard to stay in red. I guess I could take Bastion Inventor as like a subpar Free Jam region in the event that I can't support double red. So yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, I do like this late Resourceful Return too, so love that card. I love having the ability to get back one of my big improvised creatures and almost always draw a card as well from it. We can splash, release the Gremlins potentially. We do have Renegade Map, but Free Jam region is not that good if you're splashing him. You need a lot of red mana for him to actually be good. I mean, granted, if you have 2 in play to cast him, then you're probably going to be okay in terms of how much damage he can do. Okay, this pack is interesting. So we have a pretty good blue card for our deck in Glint-Nest Crane, but there's also a really good black card for our deck in Underhanded Designs, and a really good blue-red card for our deck in Whirler Virtuoso, and a good mono-red card in Welding Sparks. I'm leaning towards the designs because black is the only color that it seems super ultra clear we're going to be playing right now. I also wouldn't mind Prophetic Prism, but I think we take the designs. I don't think it's the best card in this pack. I think Welding Sparks is better, and Virtuoso, and Key to the City is also quite good. And I could think about that. Maybe I should just take Key to the City now that I'm talking to myself about this. Yeah, I probably should. It's just a very good card. Making Iron Tread Crushers unblockable. Making anything unblockable is pretty potent. It's also an artifact. Those are all things that are good for us. So yeah, I think that was the right pick. I wasn't sure it was at first. Prism can help us splash, which is something we may want to be doing. I would be okay with playing 1 Inventor with 1 Prism in my deck. And so I think I'm going to take the Prism here. What now? I've got Malfunction, but my motivation to play blue has quickly been plummeting. And this pack doesn't really make me want to play it either. I guess I just take Salivating Gremlins. Pima Outrider is probably, or Nature's Way is probably the best card in this pack, but okay. Fireweaver seems reasonable for a deck. So does Experimental Aviator, but I think going red as our primary, as one of our primary colors and splashing blue for the 1 Inventor is probably going to be better. I mean, we do have to cut some cards, obviously. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We definitely would like to pick up some more like random artifacts. I wouldn't mind not playing 4th Bridge Prowler. I mean, I can probably get not splash Bastion Inventor, honestly, which means probably not playing this either. Could run 1 island just so I can scry sometimes, but that doesn't seem great. I think having the 3 high-powered improvised creatures we have is enough. So unless we see a better reason to splash, I don't think I will be. Gear Seeker Serpent. What the hell? Okay, well, Gear Seeker Serpent. Is Gear Seeker Serpent better than Free Jam Regent? I don't think so, but is Gear Seeker Serpent plus 2 Bastion Inventors better than Free Jam Regent? Maybe. Oh, man, I could take the Pillar Bug. That's the safe pick, but I'm taking this Gear Seeker Serpent. I can't. We're very close to losing our Free Jam Regent now. Okay, Bromat Courier is a nice little 1-mana artifact that has a red activated ability. There's also a decent 3-drop creature, but we do really need artifacts, basically, no matter what. So I think I'm going to take this thing. Okay, and now there's a Weldfast Monitor. I think I'll take that over Thriving Grubs. We need artifacts, as I mentioned. We definitely have some trimming to do. Oh yeah, we have these Aether Poisoners who are basically artifacts. We're probably good on artifacts. But yeah, okay. I was briefly tempted there by that Gear Seeker, but I think in the end this is going to be better for us. We can actually even blow up our own artifacts if we want an army of gremlins. I think we can get away with 16 lands. Our curve's not actually all that high. There's some chance we don't play this Crusher, by the way, because in terms of 3 drops or less who can actually crew it, or I guess we could say 4 even, we still only have 1. I guess we can kind of count Foundry Assembler, 2, 3. This if I play an artifact, but that's about it. Okay, so probably want Foundry Inspector over like Puzzle Knot or Spireside Infiltrator. Gives us something else who can crew the Crusher as well. And then see, now there's a Glint Nest Crane, so I'm going to take that. I mean, we're just going to have to look when we get to deck building. We're going to have to sort of look at the 2 piles we have and like, is which of these piles is better than the other. Okay, well, here's another red payoff that lets you rummage. But maybe I'd just rather have another artifact. But it can also crew Iron Tread Crusher, and we have tons of artifacts. So I think I like being able to crew my Crusher. Look at all these blue cards. Most of them aren't great, but like Inquiries and Blade Master are both playable. Inquiries can actually be a win condition sometimes, and Ceremonious Rejection is a good sideboard card. That's what we're going to take. Wow. Blue is really open, but the signals were kind of weird. I mean, we would see stuff like Gear Seeker, but then there just wasn't anything really worth taking in blue. But this still being there is insane. And we're again going to have to sort of look at what our blue pile has in it and what our red pile has in it. I think Free Jam Regent makes it pretty hard to beat the red pile. But Gear Seeker Serpent is maybe 80% as good as Free Jam Regent. So it's closer than you'd think. I think. We're just going to have to look here. Come to a final conclusion. What a weird draft that was. In a lot of ways, it really was weird. It really was. Okay, so let's make a red pile up here and just sort of look at what we've got if we play red and red versus blue. Gremlins probably aren't going to make the cut. So I'll stick them over there. You're red, you're basically red, but I'll play you in either, but I'll put you there. Schematic is not red, so I don't know why I put it up there. We're just gonna put those back, but Fireweaver, Quicksmith Genius, and then our blue pile gives us Glint Nest Crane. The things that are really playable is what I'm looking at. There's definitely other playables, but man, Double Bastion Inventor, Gear Seeker Serpent, Experimental Aviator, Glint Nest Crane. Plus these 2 things. My God, this is closer than it should be. Probably not going to play Servo Schematic, by the way. We ended up with plenty of artifacts, whichever color we go with. Oh, man. Maybe not the Assembler either. All right, let's bring them down here where they're a little bigger. This is a hard decision. It was a weird draft, like I said. I wish I could splash either Free Jam or Gear Seeker Serpent, but they don't allow that. I can splash Release the Gremlins, which isn't terrible. So I can sort of put that in this pile. There's nothing blue I really want to splash. I mean, maybe Bastion Inventor. Why are you there? You should not be there. Okay, and I mean, I'll probably play these no matter what, too, just because we need artifacts. And we're going to be splashing red, so we'll occasionally be able to use our abilities. Man, I actually think our blue pile, it might be better than our red pile. I think it is. I really think it is. I could see going either way. Oh, I don't know. The more I look at this, I'm like, but I had Free Jam Regent, but no. I don't think we're going to put that implement. We need to cut 2 more cards. I guess we could probably lose Foundry Hornet. It doesn't have like any synergy, but it might be better than Alley Strangler still. Nah, the Strangler's lower on curve. I guess that makes it marginally better. These basically all have Improvise, which is, you know, pretty great. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 artifacts. Free Jam Region, I'm so sorry, but I think this is better. If I hadn't picked up that Gear Seeker Serpent, the Free Jam Regent pile would have definitely been better. We do need to cut 1 more card here, though. Could be Alley Strangler that's on his way out here. Could think about Iron Tread Crusher. Yeah, it's probably the Crusher. I mean, we've got enough good late game big creatures that we don't really need the Crusher. I mean, we're not great at crewing it anyway. Okay, so we've got Prophetic Prism and Renegade Map, so splashing red isn't terrible. I guess we could cut Beaumont Courier, though. It's going to be pretty bad. Whereas Welder Automaton and Weldfast Monitor aren't too terrible if you have don't have the red mana. He's pretty bad. I mean, I guess he provides a 1 mana body, but yeah, I think I do cut him and probably... We still have plenty artifacts, I think, and we can put back in... One thing we don't have a ton of are ways to interact with our opponent's creatures, other than, like, Release the Gremlins, and that's only artifact creatures, and Daring Demolition, but we also have Key to the City, which makes that not matter so much. I could bring Implement back in. If I want another... I mean, I have tons of creatures, so I'm probably set on creatures. So I could bring in Leave in the Dust, so I do have a way to interact with my opponent's creatures, or I could just bring in another artifact. I think having a way to interact with my opponent's creatures is pretty important, because we just don't have any. So I'll go with Leave in the Dust here. 781, huh? That's probably right. I mean, this is sort of red. This is sort of blue. This is sort of black. I mean, things are basically just going to be the same. We only want to run 1 mountain anyway, so that's not changing. But 7, 8, I think that's reasonable. We definitely have more early game black cards that we want to be playing. So, yeah, I think that's right. I am satisfied with this mana base, and I'm pretty satisfied with the deck, but it was one of the weirder drafts because we were like, do we want to play these red cards? And then these blue cards just kept coming at us, like the Aviator and the Serpent. And I guess if we just stayed completely blue the whole time, our deck might have just been stronger. But the Regent was definitely a strong pull. And I think I would say that the Regent would be the strongest card in our deck if it was in our deck. But the problem is, collectively, the other red cards aren't nearly as strong as the other blue cards are, between the Gear Seeker, the 2 Bastion Inventors, and the Experimental Aviator. Not to mention Glitness Crane. Like, the other red cards we were going to put in our deck, not very exciting. I mean, Free Jam Regent is basically our whole reason. So, difficult draft to make the decision in the end, but I think we made the right one. So, Before I'm done with the drafting portion of this week's draft video, don't forget that my content is sponsored in part by 5colorcombo.com. You can head over there and use my discount code NEEDSAHONE5 for a 5% discount. And also, if you don't see enough drafts on my channel that you want to watch, you can watch some more of my drafts over on the Aether Hub, so check them out there.